What the fuck is this nigga on? What the hell am I here? Did he do drugs before this interview? I need to know. This guy probably popped fucking something before this interview.
Capable of keeping that divide, then I'm not here to insult you. And the reason I don't insult people, I also want to make this very clear, is because
I'm kidding.
Maybe it's just the life I've lived, but I think the internet has fucked the world up. And I think one of the ways it's messed the world up is that everybody's constantly running their mouths. And the world I'm from and the life I've lived, if you insult somebody, it's you have to be prepared to defend that opinion. And I know people who have run their mouths and end up getting shot for it. And I don't like to sit around and insult people unless I have a genuine beef with them. So I'm not here to judge you or your life. I can just say that it's not something I would personally do. Well, if you feel like you have no emotion.
That is real shit, though. That is real shit. To a degree, you know, back in the day, you talk reckless, there is going to be a fucking scrap. So I get his opinion. Yeah, Tate, just being Tate, man. I don't think there's an issue with him saying he doesn't really have an opinion, doesn't really want to, you know, give any foresight to some degree. And he doesn't want to, you know, make fun of this dude on the internet because it's a respect thing. So, I mean, he has respect for Adam 22, maybe, based off of what he's done in his career. He's had a phenomenal career, Adam 22, prior to all this crap. But yeah, don't blame him. Don't blame him, man. You know, that's taking the high road. That is taking the high road, because there are so many dudes who would have not taken that high road. So respect to Tate for that one, man.
Emotional attachment to the guy, I think that's a good thing. I think your heart should be in one place.
Andrew, objectively, you could definitely beat the shit out of him. One time I was hanging out with the UFC fighter Donald Cowboy Cerrone, and he pulled up some old Andrew Tate kickboxing matches and was showing me them and did a pretty good job of making the point of this guy can't fight, which I am not in a position to judge, but I have had that experience where a former UFC champion has basically told me about what a bitch you are, which I don't agree with. I'm a fan of the Top G. I like everything that you're doing out here, but I think you and Donald Cerrone need to settle this in the squared circle.
Well, that's the thing about fighting, right? The thing about fighting as a sport is that everybody who watches it goes, this guy can't fight.
I don't know what the point of that statement was, to kind of gear away towards the issue. Is he trying to egg him on into making reaction for internet cloud? But good thing you guys see here is that Top G is still keeping frame. He's not getting overly excited about what Adam just said, because that would trigger a lot of people on the internet. This dude called you a bitch for fighting. Bro, you can't be 4-time world champion if you weren't good. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. Okay. But I mean, UFC, kickboxing, very, very different. But yeah, I don't know why Adam 22 would kind of segue into that. But maybe he's just a stir up shit. We'll see.
Fight, or everyone at home who's never even fought says this guy can't fight, or other fighters say this guy can't fight, which is why as a fighter you constantly feel like you have something to prove. Even if you win 100 fights in a row, there's always going to be someone out there who says you can't fight. I'd like to think that my record stands for itself. I've had 88 fights. I've had a bunch of fights, a 4-time world champion. I fought a bunch of rules, including MMA. And I did my very best, and I won a bunch of titles and made some money and beat a bunch of people. And of course, there's always going to be someone who watches me and says I can fight. There's a bunch of videos that say I can, and there's the odd idiot who says I can't. But I'm very happy with who I am in my career and what I've achieved, and I'm very confident in my abilities. So it is what it is. And as for Cerrone, I've heard of him. Didn't McGregor finish him pretty quick?
Wait, Chad,
I believe
is
so.
he a good fighter? Yes or no?
Sure. But either way, we need to settle that score at some point. I just want to throw that out there. But
I don't know if we do. I don't know if I need, because, and this is something I want to make clear as well. I don't know if I need beef with people on the internet. I see a lot.
Well, nobody knows this other motherfucker. If Tate was to fight this dude, it'd only enhance kind of his network. Like, this doesn't benefit Tate to fight this dude. But Yeah, I don't want to see that. I ain't watching that. So even if they do fight, I ain't watching it. Fuck that. I don't care about two dudes fighting. I'll watch another fight if I want to. But yeah, that's crazy. I like how Tate said, bro, like I don't need to do any of that. Yeah, what does he have to prove? He's pretty much one of the most famous people in the world at the moment. He doesn't need to prove in a fight to kick this dude's ass, especially if somebody is not really a huge fighter, or like if it was maybe GSP or I don't know. Actually, if it was like Jake Paul or something like that, even though he's not really a fighter, but you know, the internet would break the internet. Maybe that would make sense because it would enhance Andrew Tate's, viewership. But other than that, or maybe Mayweather or something crazy. But other than that, I don't see the point of fighting this dude.
All of this. I see a lot of people constantly beefing each other and all these arguments, etc. I don't need any of those things. I'm fighting against the judicial system. I'm fighting against the most powerful people in the world trying to silence me. I have enough battles in my life. I don't have time to be fucking tweet beefing with some dude. If he has a problem with me, he can come to my house. He knows where I am. Everyone knows where I am. Until then, I have no problems with anybody. So as for Cerrone, if he thinks I can't fight, then if he wants to tell me to my face and kick my ass, he's welcome to try. And I strongly believe he would regret that decision. And that's as far as I need to take it.
Right. So your brother Tristan was in my DMs, like really sincerely trying to convince me that I had made a very grave error, a massive mistake as a result of having let my wife another man. Myself personally, having been, a couple weeks removed from the actual incident happening, I don't really feel like I made a mistake. It feels like some pretty regular shit.
In the chat, man.
I was a little bit jealous at first. It's kind of a weird feeling knowing that your woman was in the arms of another man, even if it was only for a few hours. But it's interesting. You don't seem like you have as much of a real like moral issue with the act itself.
Well, I can give you my opinion on why I wouldn't ever do it. And I think the reason I wouldn't ever do it is because I believe that a man and a woman have a connection between them. And I think that connection is solidified by sexual exclusivity from the female's part. And I believe there's an energy cord between.
That is facts, especially on the woman's side. Women are extremely emotional. So what he's saying is 100% true. There's a spiritual connection every time you have sex with somebody. Especially somebody that's your wife or your husband or whatever it may be. So I wouldn't recommend you guys doing that fuck shit, to be honest. But Andrew's 100% correct on this. There is a spiritual tie when you have sex with your wife or you sex with your husband. That it's intimacy. It's special. Just putting it on camera for the whole world to see, like that just brings just demonic behavior to everything. Like, as I said before to you guys, the beasts of lower vibrations are real. What they do is they alter reality. They are units of intelligence that just want chaos. That is it. That's all they want. It's just negative atoms, negative energy, just want chaos. And what they do is they alter reality and they make people think what's good is bad and what's bad is good. The reality is that you could tell when somebody has this fuck shit going on and the reality's altered when they start doing bad shit that has never lasted the test of time. And then they think it is good because they're open and they're free and they're, we're moral. Everybody's equal. Like, guys, you need to understand there's no such thing as fucking equality. And this is why she'll probably feel more damage long-term for this from a spiritual standpoint. But reputation standpoint, he's going to get the blunt of this. What a fuck world we live in, man.
And I think that once that's broken with another man, I do believe there's a degree of the connection which is damaged. And I think that when the relationship is good, perhaps you will not feel it. But when the relationship is bad or when arguments start to happen or you start to get on each other's nerves, you might notice a slight difference in behavior, because I do also think that once the seal has been broken, I'll give you an example. The 4-minute mile was impossible to achieve, they believed, until one man ran the 4-minute mile and then a bunch of people ran the 4-minute mile. So once the seal's been broken, for example, let's say your wife's sleeping with another man, the The idea of sleeping with another man is not as intimidating as it was once was. And perhaps the idea of sitting through an argument or sitting through a rough patch in a relationship and continuing to try to work it out as opposed to just jumping on a new man, it might be less appealing than it once was previously. So I believe, personally, if my woman had already slept with another man, she's more likely to just give up on the relationship and sleep with another man again in a rough patch. That's my personal view.
Facts, chat.
No.
That's
Say again?
facts.
Why?
That is facts. Yeah, because once the seal's broken, there's nothing, dude, there's no going back. Like, it's broken. So she's like, well, fuck, he's not giving me what I want. I'm just going to go somewhere else. Find another big ass nigga, yo. Like these dudes are crazy, man. To even put any woman in that, I don't, just to put a woman in that situation is crazy to me because women cannot lead. Like, this is facts. This is why a strong man needs to come in and lead the situation. She needs to be taught that is not okay as a woman to be doing that. Period. She should just be a stay-at-home mom. Go home and raise your kids. Especially after this. I would just go, if I was a female, I'd just be like, I'm done. I had my, 2 minutes of fame. I'm gone. I'm just going to now decide I'm just going to be a mother and be a good human being and make sure my kids never see this shit ever again. But who am I?
I've never cheated on you, like, even in the lowest terms of cheating, like responding to a DM from somebody or anything. Like, I've never done any of that. Everything in our relationship has been out in the open. Like all my messages with the person that I worked with, I was like, hey, just so you know, like, these are the messages. And like, Adam has about 200 women in front of me and he cheated on me. So like,
Adam, that's terrible.
We all got our issues. Hey, let me just tell you, about a half hour ago, I was laying on the floor in the adjacent office with a large Italian, this thing called Brazilian face sitting.
He almost died.
It's going to appear on our weekly podcast where we interview and then different girl every single week. And this girl was really cutting off my ability to breathe. And when I would grab to move her off of my face, she would grab my hands and hold on to them so that I wasn't able to escape. And Lena was involved.
The best thing to watch.
She was giving during all this.
Yeah, Andrew just doesn't look impressed by this story. Just look at his his cues, his posture. He's just not impressed by this. He's like, what kind of fucking degeneracy is this? Why are you telling me about this? Like, what does this do? This doesn't do anything. Like, stick to the facts of the matter. Like, you telling us this story about some Italian bitch doesn't make any sense after. Who cares? Like, why are we talking about this? But Top G just looks disinterested, man. Man. The world.
This. And so, I don't know, like, do you feel like that affects our connection at all? Because after having you shot with this guy, I can kind of understand why that shit doesn't matter to you, because you and the other guy, it don't really matter to me at this point.
I think my personal view is that it's very different for a woman than it is for a man. And I think that, and I hope I'm wrong, if your relationship reaches a rough patch, perhaps the idea of being with another man will be more tempting than it once previously was because the seal's already been broken. That's my personal view. I don't, with all due respect, care what you want to do with your own relationship. If it makes you happy, it should make you happy, and that's fine. And it's your decision to make. It's not my decision to make. I'm just telling you that I wouldn't do it. I can give you admiration for a degree to how well you've dealt with the pressure, I guess, or the hate or the backlash. I mean, you've handled it pretty well, which I guess is good. Not a lot of people can do that. So I have to give you some degree of respect for that. But I guess you expected all that before you made the decision to do it, right?
Yeah, I did. And I mean, I've caught a lot of flack because when you first commented on me on the Tucker Carlson show, I left an Instagram comment that said, if he's the top G, I want to be the bottom G. So I do want to extend an invite that if you were ever interested in doing your first ever double penetration scene, that me and Lena, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like,
yo, dude,
would he be a suitable candidate? Would you?
Andrew Tate.
Can I tap him in?
I don't know. No.
What the fuck is this nigga on? Did he do drugs before the fucking show, man? What the hell am I here? Did he do drugs before this interview? I need to know. This guy probably popped fucking something before this interview. He wants Top G to have a threesome with his wife? What? What am I hearing? This is not real. I'm living in a movie. This ain't real. This is hell on earth. This is fuck, guys. This is his bro. His wife is now a battery tank, bro. This guy's just pimping his wife out. He doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, this whole clout chasing thing, man. This is crazy. But these guys are different, man. I don't know what to say. If that's what he wants in life, let him do his shit, man. But I'm staying away from that crap.
He looks built.
Oh, yeah, no, can I fill in real quick, Andrew? You know,
you're out, Adin. We canceled you. You're not in this conversation anymore.
Fair enough. Go ahead, Andrew. Would you, Andrew? Would you die? Would you do? Andrew, go ahead. Finish the answer question.
All pop together. Is that chill?
There's absolutely 0% chance of that happening. And it's not because Lena is particularly unattractive. It's because she's married to Adam, and I have no interest in.
Facts, bro. Why do I want to sleep with a married man's wife? It doesn't make sense. Like, it's just not a fulfilling thing. I don't even know how guys do that. You know, there's dudes who go to the club. A girl will say she's married and then they want to fuck her. Like, that's just dishonorable, man. Like, mad fucking respect for this dude, man. Just saying, nah, nigga, are you fucking mad, bro? That's when you know he's half black. That's when you know this dude's half black. The white side of him is just probably on some shit, man. But that's when you know this dude's half black. His dad raised this nigga well, bro. Because there's a lot of dudes who would have been sitting like, yeah, married woman, yeah, man, let's fuck, man. Won over him. And he's like, no, 0% chance. That's class, man. Mad respect to this dude. Hey. And you guys think he really went out there and fucking, you know, coerced women into making TikTok videos when he just had an offer and he's like, nope, no chance. And he said it with speed too. Man.
Degenerate, pointless sex, and I have no interest in making a spectacle of myself or even just involving myself in anything which I deem to be overall haram and pointless. It's just not something I'd be interested in. There's not a single amount of money on the planet you could pay me to undertake. So
shout out to all who's not doing double penetration, because I respect you all so much.
I'm with Andrew, by the way. I couldn't get paid any amount of money. No offense, Adam. Respect to you, degenerates. I'm not with that. No amount of money.
Yeah, you make $4 a month sitting on your ass. So, and that's from one sponsor, I think, right? So,
stop exposing him.
No, I mean, I read it online.
But yeah, I'm with Andrew on that one. Andrew,
so do you two think you're going to stay together forever?
I mean, if Adam cheats on me again, maybe not. But
I'm not a cheater anymore. I left that in the past.
That wasn't the like.
If you get a divorce, don't you think people are going to attribute it?
Whoa. If Adam cheats on you again, you're going to get a divorce? What the fuck are you talking about? Yo, these people are fucked, bro. You just had a BBC inside you and you're talking about Adam cheating. What? Man. Bruv.
To this event?
I always think that we're going to be together forever. I mean, we didn't get married a long time ago. We just got married. But it is unfortunate that if, like, in 10 years we break up because, like, let's say he cheated on me, everyone's going to blame it on the fact that in July of 2023.
I don't think
no one's going to think about anything else.
Nobody's going to be thinking about the fact that we did this in 10 years, which when you're in the middle of the storm and everybody's freaking out on you every day, it's kind of easy to feel like, oh, this is going to define my life going forward. Now, that may be true to some extent because this has been such a thing, but I don't really think that it's that likely to follow us 10 years into the future. I don't know.
My hope is to be with Adam forever. That is what I want.
And again, last thing I want to say is this. Well, not last thing, but I think I asked this, but wait, so Lena, which was better because you haven't had it. Jason was the first.
Whoa,
right?
You know what?
Did this nigga just ask what sex was better? What the fuck am I? What kind of podcast is this? What kind of live stream is this? What, Adin? You're gonna ask that question, bro? Yo, dog.
Let me say something. I find this very uncomfortable to talk about. There's not many things I find uncomfortable, but I just find this uncomfortable to talk about. And the reason is not because, I mean, I'm an adult. I know what sex is. Of course, I've lived a very varied life. I just feel like, I don't know. We have so many people watching us and we're just talking about dick and vagina. Don't you think this below us? I don't know. We're all pretty intelligent people. We talk about the Matrix and how they're trying to dumb us all down and trying to control all of our minds. And this base instinct talk, I find it very
real shit. Like, why did the conversation go in that direction? Asking who's better. What the yo, bruv. I'm getting uncomfortable just watching this shit. I am uncomfortable watching this shit. This is fucked. This is fucked.
Uncomfortable. I'm not comfortable being on this stream. If I was sitting with a woman next to me, the last thing I would talk about is our personal. Just don't think it's the smart thing to do. And I don't think that it is. I don't have any interest in the personal sex life of any married couple, and I don't want to hear about it, and I don't want to talk about it. And I just find it very uncomfortable. I'm extremely uncomfortable in this situation. That's the truth. And I'm not saying that from a position of weakness. I'm saying it from a position of strength. I don't like talking about these things. I don't like talking about women getting. I don't like talking about what I do with women. I don't like talking about any of it. I think that what I do in the bedroom with a woman who I care about should be to a degree sacred. And I think it should be completely private. Absolutely. And I don't want to hear about anyone else. I want to make something clear to the I've never watched. I don't watch. I've never bought an OnlyFans. Never paid for. My relationship with involves love, and I don't think it should happen outside of love. And I think that's the way that sex should operate. And I think that when you decide, and once again, I could be wrong, when you decide to keep sex exclusively for love, there's something beautiful and special about it. And if you decide not to do that, then you keep chasing a new high. And you can have threesomes and fuck a bunch of girls, and I'm not saying I've done it, but eventually you're constantly just chasing a new high, and you end up just doing something weird. Whereas if you just say, I only have sex with girls I love, then it's always special and it's always pretty sacred, and you get to just.
Yeah, that is legit facts. Like, when you cross a line sexually, you just cannot stop. Like, you cannot stop. That's a good fucking point right there. Like, just don't go down that rabbit hole. And so there's no point. There's literally no fucking point. And I like his viewpoints, right? You know, this is honestly, you know, I would want my daughter to date a man like this, even if he has multiple women, whatever it may be. But at least there's some more. He's not gonna go out her and be like, oh, this is you know, my daughter, or this is my wife, this is what I do with her, and just treat her like how fucking Adam 22 is treating his wife. It's crazy how society views this. They rather have Adam 22 as the husband for their daughters than somebody like Andrew Tate. When Andrew Tate is extremely respectful to women, but Adam 22 is not. By exposing a woman's sexuality, or even Adin, like, that's just not a wise thing to do. And I would not want my daughter being with a man who's doing that type of fuck shit. Like, yo, bro.
Just enjoy it that way. And beautiful children are birthed, and life goes on.
In maybe like the last 5 years of our relationship, I can really only think of maybe like 1 or 2 times that we've had sex with a girl off camera. For the most part, we are monogamous. We just found on camera. And I think if anything, our realization is that the world is so extremely fascinated by a couple like us who are open-minded sexually, because there's a lot of conversations about polyamorous relationships. And, you know, in our case, I do think it's kind of disingenuous for everybody to act like we're in this crazy poly relationship when we actually are monogamous, besides on camera. But I mean, for us, it's really like a porn thing. You know, she shot this scene with this dude. As much as she may have enjoyed it or not enjoyed it, it was a money decision. It was like, oh, this is going to be a big move for my career and for our family. We're going to be able to retire off of this money. So That was the reason for it, not like, oh, I'm just dying to have another.
I understand, and I'm not.
I don't think he even believes what's coming out of his mouth. They didn't do that to retire. Adam 22 is fucking wealthy. He could have retired a long time ago. That's straight up bullshit. That is straight up bullshit. Adam 22's done way more than this one video will ever do. So I don't know how that's the justification for pimping out your wife, bro. Or even allowing it. Like, that's just fucked. Yeah, it was a money move. I agree with it. It was a money move. But to say that it could potentially retire us, that's just giving an excuse to bad behavior. But, again, who am I? Who am I?
I'm not a saint. I'm not saying you're sitting here trying to say I'm a saint. I'm not trying to talk from a position of authority, but I have maybe it's my fight career, which Cerrone doesn't respect, or maybe it's something else, but I think that you can achieve a lot of happiness in life through actually reducing your exposure to certain things. I'll give you an example. I'm not particularly a foodie, but I will only eat once a day. Sometimes I don't eat for 2 or 3 days at a time. And that's the reason I love a steak. So right now I have unlimited sexual options because I am the top G and I'm the most famous man on the planet. And thousands of women a week are constantly trying to throw themselves at me. And the reason I reject them all is because I don't think I would enjoy sex as a whole if I slept with all these women. The reason I enjoy sex.
Imagine having the balls to say that line while a fucking mannequin and a trophy's beside. Yo, dog. Yo, bro. This guy is fucking hilarious, man. Oh, bro. He's made this more entertaining, to be honest.
It's because I say no to everybody and say no to everything. And by reducing my exposure to something, that's how I still find it interesting and that's how I still enjoy it. So I know what you're saying. I'm just talking from my personal experience. I try very hard to not give in to any temptations and try to avoid them. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect person, but by doing that, I find satisfaction in the world. So if I feel like fucking, I quite often don't fuck.
A corollary to that is that we were just on, we were all over Italy and Spain and France on our honeymoon, and we were eating in 5-star restaurants every single day, the best food that's out there. And by the end of it, I didn't give a fuck at all about what I was eating. And now that I'm back home and I'm, eating on a pretty strict diet and exercising and everything like that, you could go get me a McDonald's fucking Big Mac and I'm going to be on cloud 9 because it's just so much more potent than the stuff that I'm eating on a day-to-day basis. So I would say that in the sense that there are a lot of guys out there who think that the key to happiness is just sleeping women as possible. From my perspective, I'm infinitely more happy just being in a nice solid relationship where I can really trust my partner as opposed to the way I was, Andrew, before.
So then, okay, let's take your logic. So then why pimp your wife out if you're just happier being in a monogamous relationship? That's what I tell you guys. Some of these celebrities you guys see, I would not want to have their lives. There's some elite, there's some fucking bribe. There's some soul seduction fuck shit that he gave up in order to do this fuck shit. This is not normal. There's something bigger behind this, guys. There is really something bigger behind this. So, yeah, I'm telling you, he's literally saying what most men, I mean, not every man wants to be monogamous, but everybody wants to be in a good relationship or relationships. So pimping out that relationship doesn't make any sense. So there has to be something bigger behind this. Crazy.
I got into this relationship with her. I was in the streets.
I saved you.
I was bad. I was fucking like 5, 6, 7 girls a week, new girls. It was disgusting. Drinking to an absurd degree, popping.
Fuck drugs.
A lot of drugs, man. Yeah, I was drinking lean like Adin Ross, and now I'm much
insane,
happier.
I'm sitting here like it's crazy. All right.
Well, I agree, and I just want to say that before you guys leave, I agree. I just want to say that I wish you absolutely the best. I wish the best for everybody on the planet, and I have nothing against you. And I'm glad that you are happy with your decision. I hope it works out fantastically for you, and I hope you stay together forever and you raise your children because that's a beautiful thing, and that's what the world needs more of. So I wish you the absolute best. I think a lot of people expected us to argue, and I don't feel that way about you or your decisions, and you seem like very nice people. So I wish you the absolute best. And Lena, I hope you had fun, and I hope you enjoy your marriage. I don't know what else people expect me to say.
Next time Sneeko and fucking Myron make a trip to Romania, I want to be right there on the PA hanging out and talking about why girls suck.
No.
So guys, man, Top G made that fucking hilarious. But yeah, you guys heard my thoughts. Again, crazy that this scenario's even happened. Top G is correct. There's no point of even really going down that route, especially with somebody of his fame. There's just no point. But for niggas like us, we gotta react to this. I'm just gonna laugh at this shit. Would I do it? No. But the internet does some wild fucking shit, man. The internet is fucking wild, bruv. Well, appreciate you guys' time. RPD out, man. Fucking Christ, man. Holy shit.